Next on my journey to understand what makes the Hudson Valley home a Hudson Valley home, we're at Lindenwold, historic home of Martin Van Buren. He's the 8th U.S. president, and with interiors like this, it's beautiful on the inside. Well, it's nice on the outside, too. The original Federal-style house was completed in 1797, with Van Buren adding some Gothic Revival additions like this tower in the mid-1800s. The house sure has seen a lot in its time, but today is a special day in its history because we're at the first annual original Kinderhook Black Family Reunion, organized by the African American Archive of Columbia County. It's a family barbecue bringing together for the first time at Lindenwold descendants of people who were enslaved here.
So I am at Lindenwold today. It's known as the home of Martin Van Buren, who is the 8th president of the United States. It has a longer history than that a lot of people aren't aware of, and it is also a site of enslavement. And my own ancestors were enslaved here. Peter Van Ness, who owned the house before Martin Van Buren, owned my ancestors. I am Lisa Smith. I am the Deputy Executive Director of the African American Archive of Columbia County. First off, this is like amazing to me. Welcome to all of you. Welcome, cousins, because my husband over there on the end of the table with the computer about 10 years ago started taking up genealogy as a hobby. And when he started looking into our family, I was expecting, we're gonna have like 10, 15 people. You go back to my great grandparents. And it just kept going back and back and back. I think when we came up with the idea, I think it was actually my mom who said, we should make an actual organization. We should make like a research center. And my mom is a person who gets an idea and runs with it and then makes it happen. And I was kind of like, okay, is anybody else going to be interested in this? But it turns out a lot of people are interested in it.
Hi, I'm Vicki Jimson Flood. I'm Lisa Flood Smith's mother, and I'm also the daughter of a number of people who were born, raised, and grew up in Kinderhook. I and most of the people in my generation believed that slavery was only in the South. We had no idea there was slavery in the North. At one point when I was little, my mother gave me a picture of her mother with a woman. She was maybe in her 20s or so. And the woman was very dark. She looked very African. And my mother said something about the woman. She was either born in slavery or she was a slave. For years, until about 3 months ago, as a matter of fact, I thought the woman had come from the South. Then, when we started doing work here, I realized that she was probably a slave here. And so I knew nothing about slavery. And as I said before, most people didn't know anything about slavery. And it's amazing to learn about it and to realize that, okay, we knew that we had been here for generations, and we were very proud of that. But to know how many generations, and to know, for instance, that we probably built this house, that's a big deal. That's really important. And when we're walking the streets of Kinderhook, it's great because I can say, hey, my family has been here. I'm walking the same streets that they've walked, and it's very important.
But the first time I was here, I was completely overwhelmed with emotion. To walk on the floorboards where my 4th great-grandfather walked, it shook me to the core. But we were talking about who was here, and that room over there was Peter Van Ness's room, I think. Whatever, I don't know. It was somebody's room, and they were talking about who was enslaved and how they were probably working for that person. And I just felt almost like they're ghosts, almost like you could, feel the energy. I really don't even have words for the emotions that happened when I was in this room. I exist at sort of the nexus of the Southern Black experience and the Northern Black experience. So my father's family is all from South Carolina, North Carolina. And growing up, when you learn about things, you learn about the Southern perspective of enslavement and all of that. In the North, things were different. And I think it's an important thing for people to realize that, to understand that It wasn't better slavery, but it was very different. So I hope that while you're here today, you will take a tour of the house, go inside, walk around the grounds, and keep in mind that your ancestors, our ancestors, were here. They worked here, they lived here, they ate here, they likely built that house. They worked those fields. Some of them may be buried out in those fields. They walked on this very ground where we are right now. We are only here because they were here. And we owe it to them and to ourselves to honor their spirit and their legacy.